back once again to Talking Point. I am Mayor Mike, and with me today we have some special guests from the United Way. We have Shannon Semmerling and Laura Pfeil. Laura, Shannon, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
It is the season where we're going to be kicking off the United Way campaign, so I thought it appropriate to let people know what the United Way does in our community and all the lives that it touches, so I thank you both for being here. I don't know where we want to start, but maybe talk a little bit about what the United Way is in the community. And Laura, maybe you can take that one and maybe some of the things that we do.
Sure. So I am the Resource Development Administrator for United Way, and right now we are about to kick off our annual campaign, and we're excited this year with all of the things that we're able to promote with it, but really it's about talking about what we do in the community on an everyday basis. And we have over 30 programs that we are able to provide for people of all ages. 1/3 of our programs serve kids from 2 to 12, and then outside of that we're working with everyone with Meals on Wheels, with the Learn for Life, which is our 2nd and 3rd grade reading tutoring program. Our programs are both internal and external that we help fund and make sure that the outcomes are making big impact in our community. And so really we're out talking about what United Way does in our community.
You know, and that's something that's very important. I'm involved in a lot of youth education programs, and I know that you just mentioned that 1/3 of the programs funded through the United Way involve those really young and what I would say vulnerable or impressionable age groups. Putting some resources towards healthy beginnings and lifestyles and the learning programs is really going to save us money down the road as a community by making sure that everybody kind of has a level playing field. Can you talk a little bit about some of the programs that address the younger people?
Yeah, actually we have an initiative that we're really working with community-wide called the Born Learning Initiative. Mm-hmm. And that is a birth to 3 program, a birth to 5 really, but in the first 3 years of development, over 80% of brain development occurs. So it's so imperative that the best building foundations are done during that time frame. And so the Born Learning Initiative is actually something that we're working with the schools in our community, the clinics, the hospitals, with Skyward, working on a software program to be able to communicate with each other. It's kind of amazing that we don't already have something that they can communicate with each other on what's happening as children are developing, and add a 2-generational approach for the families as well, being able to support them and to make sure that they have the best start. So we're working with other organizations with a at-home visitation program, and then really being able to communicate as they continue to grow. That's at our earliest level, and then as they continue to move on, we have other programs such as the Boys and Girls Club and Learn for Life, like I mentioned before, that's helping students with their reading assessments. And the outcomes that we're seeing with these, you know, in the early years, it's hard to say, oh, you'll be able to see this develop, or the outcome on this right away. And so you have to have faith that it's going to work, but all of the studies show that that's where your return on investment is. And then you see with the 2nd and 3rd grade reading program, just being able to spend an hour a week with students, and Shannon can actually talk to this as well, but being able to spend time with students in the class or that are in their school already, but working with them one-on-one on their specific skills that they need to build, has amazing outcomes. Last year alone, they had 93% of their students either reading at or above grade level, or at proficiency. So, you know, the reward is with some of the programs is an easy thing to see. And so, and as I had mentioned before, and going on and further in life, we're able to support them in other things that they need. It's also important to recognize that not all of the programs that we have or that we help fund are necessarily geared to those with low income. A lot of them are, but a lot of them are other, like with Learn for Life, it's not all students that are low income. It's not, it can impact anybody, and I think we're all at a point where one life event can change everything, whether it's with your parents and now they have to have Meals on Wheels, whether it's with some with medical issues or living paycheck to paycheck, or, you know, we all are in different stages and have that that risk out there. So we're able to support them in every stage of their life.
Yeah, and that's so very true. One little thing can send your life twirling in another direction, not always in a good way.
Right.
So, Shannon, why don't we talk about that? I know you and your husband Wayne have been involved in the Boys and Girls Club and other things like that. Why don't you talk about your experiences and what you've seen the United Way do?
Absolutely. I mean, the United Way actually was the very first organization that I knocked on the door when I moved to this community over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And knew at that time through the volunteer center that this was the place where I could get connected to our community. And without fail, the doors that have opened and the experiences that I have had and the people that I've met and seen since that time 20 years ago has been incredibly eye-opening. And I'm so impressed and so proud of our community and all of those individuals who give of their time, talent, and treasure to support our neighbors through the United Way. I just saw a couple of numbers here this past week, which were really exciting to me. We're the #1 United Way in the state, number 13 per capita in the nation. That's a huge testament to the nature and the giving of our community. But what I think is so cool about our United Way as well, the numbers are one thing. The stories, as you share, are asking are yet another. But it's all being validated by external organizations too, like GuideStar, and these rankings of #1 and number 13. That's all representative of the impact and the outcomes that we've been able to deliver to. So knowing that every dollar that's contributed to the United Way is going back here in our community in some meaningful way is being recognized. And I think that that's something really for all of our viewers to celebrate and to be excited about. It truly does take a community, and we have programming for all ages, as Laura had said, and we're all just one paycheck, as you shared earlier, away from perhaps needing the organizations and the programs, but we also all are one skill and one talent away, I believe, from enhancing this community. We all have 1 hour that you can find in your week to give to the Learn for Life program. So there's a lot of ways that the United Way is interconnected here in our community, and we each are interconnected through the United Way.
That's a great way to put it, because that's one of the things that always has impressed me about our community is whenever there's a need, and it really doesn't matter what the need is, people are there to step up and help. What can I do? How can I help? And the United Way, I think, is a big part of that. It's not just the one paycheck away from something terrible, but every day, the things that we need. I refer people to United Way's 211 frequently. It's like information for services. Who can I talk to about X or what, who can help me with this? I'm not sure. Call 211. Someone's going to be able to help you or point you in the right direction. And while it may not be a United Way program that you wind up using, it is a service in our community. Now, the United Way, as you said, supports over 30 of those programs, and it takes a real active role in the community. One of the most important things I think that I use as a resource is something that was completed in 2017, and that was the Life Report. That's available online for those who don't know what it is, but it's a relatively thick report talking about all of the different aspects of our community, not only the needs, but information. And Laura, maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the things the United Way has taken up as a result of that Life
Sure.
Report.
So every 5 years we do the Life Report with other community organizations to really look at a snapshot of what's happening in our community and how we can better support it. And there's always room for improvement. So we look at what is something that we can do or something that we can support. Some of the things that have come out of the Life Report, just even in the past, has been actually Learn for Life, looking at the gap between reading proficiency and how can we expand on that and really be able to support that. This past year's Life Report, one of the things we're going to be looking at is housing and with mental health. Mental health is something that is so connected in everything and really something that we can continue to support. So there are things that come out of the life report. The Born Learning was actually something that came out of the life report. So there are things that we try to do to improve on and we look at every 5 years to be able to see how things have progressed, and then also what are things that we can work on. And sometimes, with changes in economy, with changes in housing, things can change dramatically over 5 years. So we focus on a few different areas that we can help provide for in those.
Yeah, and we use the life report at City Hall too, just referencing things because part of our job is helping fill those needs. And if we see through not only the life report but other things, other resources that we use, housing is a big focus this particular year for my administration, because we recently completed a housing study showing us where our gaps are and where we can improve. But the life report helped me contribute to that, to point the city in a direction that's going to do the most good. Obviously, there's tons of things we could dedicate resources to. We want to get the biggest bang for the buck and do the most good we can with the resources that we have. The life report is helping us as a city do that, and I know that it helps the United Way and the community at large because it is a resource, as you said, a snapshot of what's going on in our community. Mm-hmm. Shannon, what are some of the programs that you find most effective, I guess, maybe, that the United Way helps fund?
Sure. So I often hesitate when asked what most effective or my favorite, and I am asked.
That's why I went with not favorite.
And that is why I did, why I chuckle a little, because I think we need to look at it as a whole. Mm-hmm. And the organizations, as Laura had started to share at the beginning, really are birthed through, quite frankly, leaving a legacy. There's also a program for leaving your legacy here in our community through the United Way. So I believe, this is Shannon speaking, that we really are, when you look at it as a whole, more effective than one over the other, because again, at any point in your life, you could benefit from utilizing the Meals on Wheels program just for a little bit of social interaction, in addition to a nourishing meal, could provide not only your parent some relief, but it also, as the sibling, the child is knowing that their family is well cared for here in our community. So I think in terms of most effective, all of our programs that we fund go through a very rigorous application process for the funding. As you shared, there's the life report, which validates the need here in our community, and everything we do is outcomes based. So that being said, I would be hard pressed to identify any one that's more effective than the other. Collectively and as a whole, they are all incredible organizations.
And one thing that a lot of people don't know about United Way is that the funding isn't determined by the staff. It's determined by a large group of volunteers who work on investment teams in different areas that we focus on, with education, income and health, and community basics. So they a lot of them are experts in those areas, and we bring them in on a regular basis to talk about what's going on with the programming, what's going on with our community, and then what outcomes we would like to see, and what are we seeing from programs. And so, like she was saying, there's a very rigorous information that we have to be able to provide, and our donors are really looking at it from that aspect too. And a lot of people also don't know that they can, with the campaign, if they choose to designate to a certain program that we offer, they're able to do that as well. So if they have a tie with Meals on Wheels, or if they have a tie, they can designate through United Way to be able to go to that program specifically.
Sure, and maybe that's something we can start to talk about. Where does the funding for United Way come from?
Donors. It's everything that we get here stays here, and that's the great thing about it, because if you're wanting to improve our community, it all goes into our community. And we run campaigns throughout many different organizations, but then over 60% of it is from individual donors. And so being able to talk to our community in ways like this is a great opportunity to tell them about what we're doing. But then also we go to many businesses. We like to promote it in any way we can, and so it is a huge, huge support from It's All community. We aren't receiving federal funding, and so it's all supported.
See, and I kind of planned it that way because that's my segue to turn it over to Shannon, who is one of the co-chairs, coincidentally, of this year's campaign. So, Shannon, talk about how you got involved as a co-chair, maybe mention your other co-chairs,
Sure.
And what's involved being a chair of the United Way campaign for 2018.
Absolutely. Great question. I am just starting to learn all that's available and included, and I have to tell you, I'm excited for more. Every day that I spend with this organization, I want to spend more. And it's because of, again, the staff, the people who are interacting with the agencies, the programs. I'm one of 5 co-chairs this year. It's a volunteer role. What I know is that I'm responsible for going out there and sharing the goodwill of the organization with others who may be less informed. I can tell you, though, that I've personally been doing that since I knocked on that door in the late 90s when I moved here. And it's been awesome to open up the door and to bring awareness to the programs that perhaps people in our community might not know about or may not even know that they're fully United Way funded. So I always encourage people to go to the website, see the breadth of work that's happening here in our community and the various different ways that we're touching that. But it is simply to raise awareness and to encourage others, as I feel very comfortable myself sharing. Wayne and I have been very proud donors for as long as we have been able to. And that was from day one, really, with my time and our talent first. And now that we're able to do more, we do more. And you can give of gifts in many different ways through the organizations. And we do, too, find that it's very easy to designate if you have a program that you're really passionate about. You'd asked what was the most effective. I'll share with you what one of my most favorite programs is. And it's really the Learn for Life program. I think so many of us can find new worlds and be open to new experiences and new ideas through the joy of reading. And there are some kiddos in our community who just need a little extra time, an extra person to spend even just 1 hour a week with them. And I personally have seen the growth in my kiddos, I call my kiddos, every year through that 1 hour. But I guarantee you, I get out of it as much as I think I'm hearing that they do. And I invite and encourage others to join me in that. And that's just one program that we volunteer for, but one that I'm, of course, very passionate about.
That's and to me, that's one of the most rewarding things too. As I said, I work with youth education and hunter safety and fishing, and seeing the smile and the excitement in the kids' faces is really what does it for me. I'm kind of partial to the Boys and Girls Club.
Absolutely.
We go there and hang out, have lunch with them, play some games occasionally. They like to know about what I do. And they have a fair amount of people that are very interested. And they formed a youth council almost. And I met with them to try and tell them a little bit about what the city council does and what they expect to do. And I said, okay, what are your goals? Find something that you're passionate about, something that you want to improve in your community. And I don't care what that is. If it's a skate park or if it's your neighborhood park, or maybe you don't, the stop sign or bicycle safety, whatever it happens to be, find something in your community that you want to be passionate about, and then do something about it. And they said, we want a new roof in the gym. Our gym's roof looks really bad because it was like ceiling tiles and they were busted over the years and never replaced. And they did. They started that ball rolling, and working with our parks director and the Boys and Girls Club, they now have a new roof in their gym. And they did it. So it proves to them and the community that it doesn't matter if you are the mayor or just a citizen involved in a group. Anybody can make the place where they live a better place to be. And I think the United Way does that much more broadly than I ever could with all of the programs and the lives that you touch. I know that the need always exists, and we will never be finished fixing things. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. If John Lennon could fix it, he probably would have.
That would be great.
But we can only imagine at this point.
Yeah.
So last year, the fundraising set a record again. Do you remember what the total dollar amount raised last year was?
$3,048,000. $5,000, I
Okay.
believe. I wasn't
Something like
fully
that.
a part of in this role last year, so I'm trying to remember. But
Sure.
yeah, it was over. We exceeded our goal. Yes.
And where I'm going with that is they've stepped it up a little bit. These 5 women that are heading up this year's campaign
we don't like to make it easy for them.
No,
do we?
no.
have a goal of, Shannon, do you know what your goal is this year?
I do know what our community's goal is, and
Okay.
I'm really excited to share that with everybody at our kickoff event
Okay.
on August 17th. So I share that today as really a big public invitation to everybody watching.
So
Come
August
and join us.
17th,
August 17th.
What time and where?
It's at PJ Jacobs on August 17th at 11 a.m. So please come. It will be an interactive community day. We'll be able to share our campaign goal at that time.
Okay.
And you are correct. We have very big shoes to fill.
I
but
just,
I'm
I just
confident with
know
my-
you, and your
Yes.
ambition is always
Yes.
much higher than everybody else's. At least mine. for that.
So we have an awesome team.
Yeah.
I feel so privileged to be serving with 4 other really strong women who really represent different decades throughout your life. When you talk about how the United Way touches each of us at different points throughout our life, it's been really cool for me to recall perhaps what I was like as a young professional in Anna, and see and learn from Vicki and Kathy of how our community, how we touch it and work in it in many different ways throughout our lives. And it's an awesome team of 5 of us. And Amber, and Amber is our 5th.
So let's talk about some of the things that have happened in the past, because the campaign follows a path. And I don't know, Laura, if you want to talk about that, or Shannon, what happens with the campaign? What is the United Way campaign?
So the way that we determine the campaign goal is actually, there's a lot that goes into it actually. It's based off of the needs of each of the programs. A lot of people wonder, okay, why did this program receive this funding? It's really based off of need for each of the programs that we have, and then also for being able to budget and plan ahead, because it's for next year's programming. So we keep that into consideration, as well as inflation and all of the things that go into it, and that's really how we determine our goal. Sometimes we're able to exceed that, and we've been very proud of what we've been able to do. But we also try and keep it realistic in what we're able to ask for the community, because we're grateful for whatever they're able to provide for us. But we do, we hate to put that pressure on.
I accept it. I
Yeah.
accept it. It is the community that's making this happen.
Right,
It
but
really is.
when once we determine that, then we work with our drive chairs and talk about what's kind of a theme for each year, and what do we want to make sure we communicate out into the community. And this year, we really are asking everybody to think about their story. What's the story of their community? What's the story of, are they someone who has received United Way program, or has received help through a United Way program? Is it somebody who is interested in volunteering or giving back to the community in a way? Or is it somebody who, I don't have that time right now, but I have the funds to be able to commit to it, or all of the above? And so we really want to look at it, and people can change over time in what way that they're contributing, and we want people to recognize that, and how has everyone been impacted in through United Way, and learning more about United Way, and knowing that we have so many things to offer.
Okay.
And from,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just say kind of tactically then too, from kickoff, which really is the big announcement for this season of
Right.
giving, we'll say. We'll run the campaign then through the fall season, and then culminate with the announcement of our total campaign contributions in early December.
Okay.
As well as announcing who our winners are of our sweepstakes.
Yes.
And so in addition to giving, and everyone has a different reason for their giving.
I just want to see the thermometer increase.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Those will be coming out soon. In addition to that, at $52 or more, everyone receives a coupon book, which is valued at last year I believe it was over $1,700 in local coupons, and we're always looking to increase that. And a lot of them are places that don't offer coupons in any other way, so it's really exciting. But then also, at $52, everyone is entered into our sweepstakes drawing, and this year, every year we kind of do a little bit more increase in that
Stepping
as well.
up the game again. I heard all about it.
Scafidi Motors again has offered last year it was a F-150 or Ford F-150 this year. We have a choice of 6 different vehicles,
Right.
and one of them included is a Ford F-150 valued at $43,000. So definitely different options for vehicles, but then also a pendant from Thomas Daling Liers, a John Deere lawn tractor, which a lot of people are excited about. That's a new one for this year.
Yeah.
And then a plane package, and then I believe it's a 65-inch flat screen TV with a Switch and some games for the Switch. So everyone, something to look at everybody's interests.
There is, and that really motivates people. I was looking at my book from last year, which I keep in my truck. I have mine in my truck. My wife keeps hers in her purse. And according to the Blanker family, there were $1,930 worth of valuable coupons in here. Everything from food to entertainment and activities. So you keep it handy, and people do use this. And this was at $52 a year?
$52 a year.
So a minimum of $52 a year, you get $1,900 in
Right.
savings. And it's places in the community that you're going to probably use anyway.
Yes.
So you might as well save some money at it.
Absolutely, and I want to send a big shout out and a huge thank you to all of those contributors to the coupon book as well. I mean,
Definitely.
when you talk about how do we raise money for our community, there are so many different ways and so many organizations that are making this happen. The private sector and their contributions, individuals, businesses, it's a pretty awesome undertaking.
It is, and I know a lot of the businesses have big events for the United Way. Century does, Skyward had, I think Associated still does theirs. Lots of businesses, and I'm only listing a few. So that's how those employees will hear about the United Way and what it does to the community and how they can contribute. But maybe you don't come to my employer. Where can I find information on how to contribute or how to help?
Sure. So we have our website, unitedwaypoco.org.
Poco, Portage County.
Yep,
Yes.
Poco.
Poco.
Yep. And all of our information regarding both our programs as well as our campaign are all listed on there. And then also, they can contact us as well, and that number is 715-341-6740. So they can contact us via Facebook, via email, and then we can answer any
Twitter,
of those questions.
Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah, all those fun, social
Stop me on the
media.
street,
Yeah.
I'll be happy to talk to you about the United Way. This is
That's
my
your job.
invitation.
And I'll give you your address. We'll
Do that.
post the address, personal address, and
I'm always here. You can find me anywhere in this community.
There's so much information to provide for
that's good. And donating to the United Way, participating, whether it's financially or helping stuff backpacks or make kits, any number of things that you can do. It's not just financial, but the financial helps.
Correct.
You do those things, I think, for the most part, for most people, they do them because they want to help. They have that genuine compassion, and they want to help, and they want to better their community. But the chance of winning an F-150 helps.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous. We don't get to win.
Plane
so.
tickets to Vegas on the jumbo screen with the video games and stuff. Those are all, really nice things. But
Right.
we do it to just better our community. So I'm looking forward to the event that you're having, the kickoff
Yes.
at PJ Jacobs again on August 17th at 11 a.m. And we will hear more about the campaign. I'm excited to see what you
Yes.
ladies have put together this year because it's going to be exciting, I know,
Thank you.
just because I know these people.
Yeah. You'll also get to see when you're there our Project Fresh Start, which is the school supply drive and distribution. So that's another incentive for it.
Great. So we're just about out of time. Shannon, Laura, I would like to thank you for being on today and letting our community know what's going on with the United Way and all the great things that the United Way does in our community and how other people can help make those dreams become reality. So thank you again for joining us. And until next time, I'm Mayor Mike, and we have been Talking Point.